All right, let's talk about the Oklahoma City Thunder versus San Antonio Spurs. Obviously, we're leading 2-1 with the chance of leading 3-1 in this series. And I feel like that would really wrap this series up. And the first point would be SGA controlling the series really without any scoring explosions. I mean, he's been held to 39% shooting. And when I say controlling the series, he's averaging 11 assists on just 2.3 turnovers. The Spurs are loading up with 2 to 3, 4 defenders at times. Their defenders on the nail, and SGA is instantly always making that correct read. And the Thunder role players are getting rhythm catch and shoot looks because of SGA's processing speeds. And we can compare that to his typical play style, which is more just typically predicated on huge scoring outbursts and a lot in isolation. We're playing great team basketball, and I feel like if SGA continues to control the game, the pace, the tempo, everything, I just don't see how the Spurs can win a game like tonight. And OKC's depth is also winning the series for them. Spurs have obviously a huge player in Victor Wembanyama when it comes to the defensive side, but OKC has the better 1 through 8 rotation, even 1 through 9. And in every game, we've had a different Thunder player step up. It feels like, game one, Alex Caruso hit 8 threes. In game three, we had J. Will, who dropped 5 threes. Lou Dort is constantly hitting his shots. And of course, AJ and McCain have had their outbursts as well at, times that we've needed. And it doesn't feel like we have a weak spot when it comes to the shooting ability, whereas the Spurs are still trying to just, bring in whoever is, at least from a defensive standpoint, like the least dangerous. And kind of, I feel like they're getting burned after Wemby is sitting. And that's the next point would be the non-Wemby minutes are really deciding everything. The biggest stat of the series is the Spurs are plus 21 with Wemby on the court. And I feel like that was a big reason why they won game one. He played huge minutes for them, and Spurs are negative 38 with him off the court. So the second he sits, OKC is able to relentlessly attack the basket. And Mark Dagnall is actually staggering SGA's minutes against Wemby. So when Wemby goes to the bench, SGA is on the court. He's getting to the basket a lot more easily. And then on top of that, I feel like that's, of course, elite coaching. But on top of that, we usually have really good offensive lineups when Wemby's out there with Caruso guarding him, still, able to play make, hit some good shots. McCain's out there. AJ's out there. Obviously, we're going to be missing AJ and probably J-Dub for tonight. But fantastic. I think the OKC pace, defense, and depth are just too overwhelming for this San Antonio team. The one point that they do have is they have a DPOY future face of the league in Victor Wembanyama. I mean, in game 3, they were up 15-0 because Wemby pretty much took over that start of the game with his energy. The building was kind of amped up for this. And I feel like it's going to be pretty scary looking onward, but currently the rivalry is SGA versus Wemby, and it feels like SGA's got that a little bit more experience, ability to control more of the game. And Wemby actually mentioned this in the post-game presser. He said, "Hey, I've got to get my team involved. It can't just be an isolation show." And that's kind of where we've kind of pigeonholed their offense into, is them being super reliant on Wemby to create, and it's not leading them to good places. And of course, if J-Dub comes back for next game, I think we can definitely win, especially at home. There'll be less pressure on SGA. But with AJ and J-Dub seemingly missing tonight, that means more minutes for Caruso, Wiggins, J. Will, Kenrich. We could see different lineups tonight. And I think that actually, bodes well for us. We've been used to, minutes without J-Dub, and McCain seemed very comfortable in the AJ slot. So I don't feel like I have too much to worry about there. The other key point for this would be the Spurs guard after coming back. They haven't looked fully healthy. Fox and Harper, not as explosive as I expected. I feel like, maybe they came back a little too soon. They really want to win, and them not winning last game kind of is detrimental. And the pressure is just going to continually exhaust this team. And I feel like we're just kind of wearing them down game by game. And the big key for game 4, if the Spurs were to win, they could probably survive the non-Wemby minutes for whatever reason, whether that's Castle, Harper, Fox kind of able to win those minutes for them. And if that's not going to be the case, the Thunder would probably win this due to their depth and SGA also having, an elite performance. And that's kind of what the expectation is. I feel like SGA's processing, playmaking has been probably the most impressive part. This is something I've said on the Bring the Thunder podcast a lot, is I feel like SGA is one of those guys that can be a 30-10 guy and eventually a 30-10-10 guy, because he can give us a little bit more on the rebounding. He's not that focused on it, but if he was able to lock in on it, maybe he could enter the triple-double realm, but definitely double-doubles nightly. Like, he's that level of a player. And if we can survive these injuries for one more game and still look dominant, I feel like the conversation is going to go from, was this a competitive series, to more like, our OKC becoming a dynasty, heading into like a closeout game. If that was to happen, I feel like all the analysts are going to say like the Spurs felt like they were a year too early, even though maybe that could be the case. But in my opinion, the Thunder are the more composed team. They should win tonight. I'll catch you guys for after the post game, see how the game kind of shakes out, and hopefully we get this W. Peace out.